Have you ever felt the seconds slipping through your fingers, as if time itself conspires against your goals? I know that sensation intimately. The rising knot of panic when a deadline hurtles toward you at full speed, and you suddenly realize you've been coasting on autopilot, blind to the urgency that should have been your greatest ally. In these moments, our minds dull to the ticking clock, and we lose sight of the power that lies in every passing instant. Today, I want to shatter that complacency and show you how to turn the tables on time, so you never again find yourself wishing for just one more minute. Imagine standing at the edge of a precipice, the vast expanse of your dreams stretching out behind you, and the ground beneath your feet crumbling at an alarming rate. That's exactly where so many of us live, yearning for progress, yet paralyzed by the weight of our own inaction. I've witnessed brilliant professionals, creative thinkers, and dedicated entrepreneurs grind to a halt because they failed to harness the simplest force in the universe, the ticking of the clock. In my own journey, I learned that urgency isn't an enemy to be feared. It's a signal to be embraced, a catalyst that sharpens focus and ignites decisive action. If you allow it to guide you instead of intimidate you, you'll unlock a level of performance you never thought possible. Over the next minutes, I will guide you through a transformative 5-step process designed to rewire your mind and ignite momentum the moment you feel time slipping away. You'll learn how to awaken your urgency sensor with a simple daily drill. How to laser focus on the one task that moves the needle in 3 minutes or less. How to convert paralyzing fear into immediate action. How to enlist the power of micro-accountability. And how to recover swiftly from setbacks so that nothing derails you. By the end of this session, you won't just understand these strategies, you'll feel them coursing through your veins, ready to propel you forward. So settle in, clear your mind of excuses, and let's embark on this journey together. Pay attention to this urgency awareness exercise. Every morning, I awaken with a single, unforgiving truth: time waits for no one. I remember a season when I treated each day as though it extended infinitely ahead, only to find my most important ambitions slipping away the moment I blinked. That illusion shattered the day I missed a critical meeting because I convinced myself there was plenty of time. In that instant, I realized that urgency isn't a burden. It is the most potent ally we have. It calls us to attention, infuses our senses with clarity, and compels us to act before the window of opportunity slams shut. That I, in my own practice, I transformed this revelation into a simple yet profound ritual. Each dawn, before the world stirs, I place a countdown timer on my desk, set for 10 minutes, and allow its relentless ticking to heighten my awareness. As the seconds drain away, I train my mind to recognize every flicker of distraction, the urge to check email, the temptation to linger in comfort. Those 10 minutes become a microcosm of urgency, sharpening my focus and reminding me that every decision I make carries weight. When I commit to this exercise, I feel an almost electric charge course through my thoughts, alerting me that time is not a resource to be squandered, but a force to be harnessed. That I've watched this simple drill reshape not only how I begin my day, but how I approach every challenge. Under its influence, I learned to discern between what truly matters and what merely masquerades as urgent. Projects that once overwhelmed me now take shape in clear, purposeful steps. The tension that once paralyzed me under deadlines transforms into a guiding beacon, illuminating the path forward. And when I share this practice with those I mentor, I witness a remarkable alchemy. Hesitation dissolves, confidence blooms, and the haze of procrastination gives way to decisive action. As you reflect on your own relationship with time, I invite you to imagine, just for a moment, what it would feel like to treat each day as an appointment with your highest potential. Feel the pulse of the countdown, the gravity of those fleeting seconds. That heightened awareness will become your compass, steering you away from complacency and toward a life defined by urgency, purpose, and relentless progress. The 3-minute prioritization blitz. When I first recognized how diffuse my focus had become, I saw my energy scatter like leaves in a storm. Endless to-do lists felt like a raging river, pulling me in every direction, yet carrying me nowhere meaningful. I understood then that without a clear compass, our best intentions dissolve into busywork and regret. Prioritization is not a luxury. It is the bedrock of achievement. In those moments of clarity, I crafted a razor-sharp ritual. Give yourself exactly 3 minutes to map out every task, then single out the one that moves the needle most. This is not about perfection. It is about decisive clarity that cuts through. Mental clutter. I begin by setting a simple timer for 3 minutes and unleashing a torrent of ideas onto a blank page. No judgments, no hierarchies, just raw inventory of every obligation, dream, and errand pulling at my attention. As the seconds tick away, I feel a surge of purpose, each word narrowing my field of vision. When the buzzer sounds, I scan the list and circle the task that, if completed today, will deliver the greatest return on effort. With that single decision, my scattered energy coalesces into a laser beam of productivity. In that instant, I commit myself wholly to the chosen action, banishing distractions as if they were noise in a cathedral of purpose. Over time, this blitz has become the cornerstone of my daily discipline. I have witnessed how colleagues and protégés shed overwhelm and step into a rhythm of progress that feels effortless yet unstoppable. By choosing one task and attacking it with focused intensity, I discovered that momentum breeds momentum. The satisfaction of crossing that single, most impactful item off the list fuels the next breakthrough and the next. Each morning, I affirm to myself, I choose my focus. I create my results. These words transform intention into reality, ensuring that every day drives me closer to my highest ambitions. You will use the fear trick in action. I have stood at the brink of countless deadlines, my heart pounding as adrenaline surged through my veins while my mind froze in a fog of panic. In those moments, I realized that the very emotion meant to alert us becomes our greatest saboteur, an unrelenting wind that threatens to knock us off course. I began to see fear not as an enemy to be vanquished, but as a signal to be decoded, a raw, powerful energy simply waiting to be channeled. By acknowledging its presence, I could transform its paralyzing grip into a springboard for decisive movement. In my own practice, I name the sensation the moment it arises. This is deadline adrenaline. I speak the words out loud, almost as if introducing an old friend whose arrival I had long feared. That act of labeling dissipates the haze, granting me clarity to take a single, concrete step within 60 seconds, whether opening a document, drafting a brief outline, or sending a brief message to a colleague. That immediate microaction becomes a spark that breaks the paralysis, allowing momentum to build. Suddenly, the battlefield of my mind is no longer overrun by fear. It is energized by purpose. Over time, this simple habit reshaped my relationship with pressure. I began to welcome the rush of adrenaline as a precursor to heightened performance rather than a harbinger of defeat. Each time I named the fear and acted, I reinforced the belief that I am in control of my responses. I watched colleagues adopt the same practice and discovered that even the smallest forward motion dissolves the tyranny of doubt. In the stillness after that first step, confidence blooms, and what once felt impossible becomes simply the next line on my page. My mantra now echoes. My action breaks the power of fear. With it, I move from the shadow of hesitation into the light of unstoppable progress. You will make a micro-accountability pact that I discovered early in my career that the fiercest promises we make to ourselves often vanish into thin air, unheard by anyone but our own doubtful minds. It was only when I shared my commitments aloud with a trusted colleague, a mentor, or even through a simple voice note that I felt a new force awaken beneath my resolve. Accountability, I learned, is like a bridge spanning the gap between intention and reality. Until you place your words on the other side, you remain stranded on the shore of unfulfilled potential. By entrusting another person with my most urgent goal and its deadline, I harnessed the subtle pressure of expectation to fuel my follow-through. That I remember preparing for a pivotal keynote speech that would define the next chapter of my career. Though I had drafted countless outlines, I could not marshal the discipline to refine my message. Then I recorded a brief audio to a colleague, naming my one priority, finalizing the final draft by Friday at 5 p.m., and pressed send. Almost instantly, I felt the gravity of my words anchoring me. Each time I felt tempted to delay, I pictured that colleagues knowing silence and the gentle nudge it represented. That external promise became the wind in my sails, urging me forward even when my internal motivation wavered. Since embracing this pact, I've watched its quiet magic transform countless professionals and teams. By simply voicing your single, most critical task and its exact time frame, you introduce a spark of social obligation that elevates accountability from abstract commitment to lived experience. It need not be dramatic, just a short message, a conversation, or a shared note, but its impact reverberates throughout your day. When you honor that external promise, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted under pressure, and that trust becomes the foundation for ever greater ambitions. I carry this lesson with me always, affirming, I honor my word, and my actions honor me. Fast recovery is the key that I have seen how a single misstep under the crushing weight of a deadline can cascade into a full-blown derailment, turning confidence into doubt and momentum into frustration. In those critical moments, I discovered the profound power of a brief, intentional pause, a ritual no longer than 2 minutes that serves as a lifeline back to clarity. By stepping away from the chaos, breathing with steady rhythm, and reflecting on what went wrong, I learned to transform setbacks into springboards, reclaiming my focus with renewed determination. When I feel the sharp sting of a slip, a forgotten detail, an unexpected obstacle, or a momentary lapse, I close my eyes and inhale deeply for a count of 4, then exhale for 4. That simple exchange of breath grounds me, slowing the whirlwind of thoughts. In the quiet that follows, I jot a single sentence in my journal describing the lesson of the misstep, whether it be a distraction I allowed or a plan I failed to simplify. Writing crystallizes insight, converting vague regret into concrete understanding. With that clarity, I sketch a streamlined action plan, often just 2 or 3 words, so I can resume immediately without overthinking. Time and again, this ritual has resurrected projects from the brink of collapse. Colleagues have told me, it feels like flipping a switch. One moment they're swimming against a tide of anxiety, the next they're propelled forward by the momentum of insight. I carry this practice into every aspect of my work because I know that resilience is not measured by how rarely we stumble, but by how swiftly we rise. Each breath, each note, each decisive return to action becomes a testament to our capacity for growth. In that space between mistake and mastery, we discover that every pause is not a loss of time, but an investment in our next breakthrough. There is a habit of doing a debriefing after the deadline. Each deadline that passes offers a hidden gift, the opportunity to learn and to sharpen our approach for the next challenge. I came to this realization after celebrating a hard-won success only to feel crestfallen moments later, wondering where the time had slipped away and how I could extract deeper value from the effort. It was in that moment of frustration that I introduced a simple end-of-day ritual, a structured debrief that turns every completed task into a springboard for continuous improvement, ensuring that each deadline propels you toward ever higher levels of performance. That I end each day by reviewing what unfolded with deliberate attention. First, I ask myself what went exceptionally well, those moments when I felt fully engaged and in control. I record these triumphs in a journal, preserving the details of what strategies and mindsets fueled my success. Then I turn my gaze to the points where time leaked away, those subtle slips in focus, unexpected interruptions, or planning blind spots that cost precious minutes. By naming them precisely, I strip them of their power to recur unchecked. Finally, I set a single improvement for tomorrow, phrasing it as a clear, actionable statement. That small commitment becomes the guiding star for my next day's urgency drill. This ritual has transformed the way I relate to progress itself. Instead of viewing deadlines as obstacles or finish lines, I see them as milestones on an ever-evolving journey of mastery. Every evening, as I outline one targeted refinement, whether it's tightening my 3-minute blitz, refining my accountability pact, or deepening my awareness of adrenaline, I feel a renewed sense of purpose. The practice instills confidence that no mistake is final and no victory is empty of lessons. It ensures that momentum is not just maintained, but magnified by the insights we mine from each experience. That by committing to this post-deadline debrief, you create a powerful feedback loop that cements learning and fuels progression. It reminds you that growth is cyclical. Act, reflect, improve, and act again with greater wisdom. In my own life, this habit has been the linchpin of sustained high performance, turning each deadline into not just an endpoint, but the starting point of a deeper cycle of achievement. When you harness this habit, you transform every tick of the clock, from the moment you set a timer in the morning to the final note in your journal, into a conduit for relentless advancement that I invite you to look back across the journey we've shared. From igniting your urgency sensor with the 10-minute drill to refining your focus in a 3-minute blitz. From converting fear into forward motion and anchoring your commitments through a micro-accountability pact, to rebounding swiftly with a rapid recovery ritual and harvesting lessons in a post-deadline debrief. Each step is a pivotal moment on the path to mastery, and together they form an unbroken chain of momentum that will carry you through any challenge that I have witnessed time and again. How these practices transform hesitation into decisive action, overwhelm into clarity, and scattered effort into meaningful progress. The power to turn around any situation lies not in wishing for more hours, but in harnessing the moments you already have. Embrace urgency as your ally. Choose your highest impact task with conviction, name your fears, and act in spite of them. Enlist the support of others, rebound quickly from setbacks, and learn relentlessly from every deadline. Let these rituals become the architecture of your success. Now the mantle passes to you. Commit to one of these techniques in the next 10 minutes. Feel the pulse of the countdown. Circle your most critical task. Speak your pledge aloud. Pause. And reflect in breath, or capture today's insights in your journal. Then return tomorrow and deepen your practice. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for more insights on high performance, discipline, and purposeful living. Your transformation begins with a single step, and I look forward to guiding you on every one that follows.